Hey everyone, Zach here from StabiLens. This video is about how to figure out if StabiLens will fit on your lens. The ring itself has an internal diameter of 58 millimeters. That's so from this side to this side on the inside is 58 millimeters. So if your lens is physically really small, so some of the smallest like micro four thirds lenses are gonna be a little too small for the StabiLens ring to fit on. A lot of times the lens hoods, though, are a little bit wider, and it will fit on those if it might not fit on your lens. On the other end of the spectrum, it can stretch all the way to about 100 millimeters in diameter. This is actually a lens hood that's 103 millimeters, and that's, again, physical diameter from this side to this side. It doesn't matter the focal length of your lens, so the millimeters of like, it's an 85 or it's a 35 or whatever, that doesn't matter. It matters the physical width or diameter of the actual lens. So this is about 103 millimeters. So it's a little past our spec on this, but it still works, and you can see how it still has sections that are stretched, and it has the weights in it, and the weights don't fall out. Even when it's stretched this far, the weights don't fall out, and that's how we designed it to be snug no matter what size you were stretching it to. So you can use the guide on your actual camera lens. So for instance, this one says it's a 72 millimeter thread size. So that gives you a pretty good guide as to the physical diameter of the lens itself. It's usually going to be a little bit bigger than that, right? Because the thread size is inside here. So you add 10 millimeters or so, and you get a pretty good idea of how physically wide the lens is. So it would fit on this lens, for instance. So then the question that we get after, okay, it will physically fit on my lens, is where on my lens should I put the StabiLens ring? Well, we always recommend you putting it on your lens hood, and that's because you're pushing the weight as far forward as possible. You need to add less weight if it's further from the center of gravity than if it's closer or further back. So the lens hood is a really great place, and it also creates a super simple on-off. It's on, now it's off. So let's say you're shooting stills or something. You could have your lens on your camera, shoot stills all day, and then throw your camera on your gimbal, and boom, put that on. You are good to go, and all your lenses are pre-balanced because you have them on the lens hood. You can even store them on the lens hood like this. You just throw them in your case, and you just leave the StabiLens ring right on your lens hood like that. The other thing to think about when you're thinking about where to put your StabiLens ring on your lens is that you don't want to put it on any moving parts, because a lot of times your StabiLens ring doesn't look like this. It'll look like maybe like this. It'll be uneven in terms of where the weights are distributed. So if you put your StabiLens ring on a lens like that and you start spinning your ring, well, then you're going to throw your balance off, because going from here to here will mess up your balance. So you don't want to put the StabiLens ring on any moving parts, which means that a really small lens like this that basically is all focus ring is not a great candidate for a StabiLens ring unless you do something like put it on the lens hood. Then it works really well. This lens is also, this is a 46 millimeter thread diameter. So if you see, I can put this on, but barely. It is just snug. So this is about the smallest lens that you can get. It's a really small lens. It's only, 126 grams. So it's really tiny. This is a little 25 millimeter Lumix lens for Panasonic, micro four thirds lens mount. But it's about the smallest lens that you can put it on. But again, the StabiLens system is designed to be totally compatible with your workflow. So whatever your reference lens is about as heavy as any of your other lenses are going to get. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about lens choices. And also keep in mind that a maxed out StabiLens ring fully loaded with tungsten can only add 261 or so grams. So that's about 0.57 pounds, so over half a pound of weight. But if you have a lens that's super tiny, like this, and a lens that's super giant, like this, you're never going to get these lenses to be compatible, because this lens weighs over 2 pounds, and this lens only weighs a couple hundred ounces, or a couple hundred grams. So huge difference in size, and StabiLens is not going to be able to compensate for that. So as you're thinking about your workflow, consider what you can do with one StabiLens ring, or in some cases you might have to use 2 StabiLens rings in order to get your lenses to be compatible and balance. All right, well, that's it for this video. If you have any other questions, go to StabiLens.com. My name is Zach from the StabiLens headquarters. Thanks for watching.